Okay, so this video right here shows extreme flooding in Iran that leaves dozens dead. Days of heavy rain that trigger flash floods and landslides across most of Iran's provinces, making the nation's deadliest water-related episode in a decade. Okay, and so this is happening. Okay, so do you want to know the date on it? And so I'm not just reporting about Iran. It's not only happening there. Heavy rain causes deadly flooding across Iran, July 30, 2022. So you can look it up. And so Pakistan, I'm hearing some stuff about some flooding that's so bad there that it looks like an apocalyptic event. They said there are flooding where it looks like an ocean forming in the middle of what would have been like neighborhoods and cities. So Pakistan flood, the death toll rises to 1,265. Nearly 1/3 of the country is underwater. 3 hours ago, this was put out. And so this right here is Pakistan. Since mid-June, over 1,200 people have lost their lives from severe flooding. Over 1/3 of the country is submerged under flood water. Around 33 million people are still affected. So it is in the millions. It's bad. So as per the National Disaster Management Authority, NDMA of Pakistan, at least 57 people were killed due to flash flooding in the last 24 hours, taking the death toll to 1,265. Over 7,683 have also been injured in a severe deluge in the past one day, and reported by Xinhua news agency. Till now, close to 15,000 people have sustained injuries in the floods triggered by heavy rains. So out of the new deaths, 18 were women and 17 were children. So since mid-June, over 3 lakh houses have been damaged in the flood. So far, 1,069 and 676 people have been rescued, while 3,020, 680 houses, those have been damaged. Okay, and so this is from the flood rains. Okay, they've been destroyed due to flash flooding in an Asian country. And so there's two names here. I may not pronounce them. Sindh, Balochistan are the worst affected provinces of the country. And so the U.S. is conducting military assistance mission to the flood-ravaged country. So the development was confirmed by U.S. Armed Forces Central Command. So on Thursday, September the 1st, during a phone call, the General Omar, I believe he's the one, basically, that and I may not pronounce him, as the Chief Army Staff Commander of U.S. Central Command, expressed condolences to the people of Pakistan amidst the catastrophic floods. So what I was hearing, that it looked like an apocalyptic event. Some people were saying it looked like it was forming like an ocean in areas where people were living. And it was basically going underwater. That's how bad it is. So if people want to act like this is not happening, you can sit there and act like it's not happening, but it's happening. Okay, so that is Iran, and I told you about that was Iran and Pakistan. I was just talking about Pakistan. Well, this right here, getting a little close to home, hitting home. This is in Texas. Heat, drought, fires, and flooding happening in Texas. Okay. All right, so they're grappling with something out there, and you see pictures of this happening, and you have people coming out of a flood environment. And so people want to act like climate change isn't real. So I believe I ruffled some feathers. So this was August 31st, 2022. Okay, And so these were members of the Balk Springs Fire Department. They bring a family of 4 by boat to higher ground after rescuing them from the home along Forest Glen Lane in Balk Springs, Texas, August 22, 2022. Amid severe drought in much of Texas, recent weeks have also seen damaging rains in parts of the state. So it's going down. This weather, this climate change is real. So it is happening, and it is not good, and it's not really looking good for a lot of families. So is it safe to say that displacement is not only people who are not able to afford to live somewhere, but it's also people who had afforded to live somewhere but lost their homes due to this climate change events and these natural or disaster events like the heavy rains and all of the stuff, that flood waters and all of the things that are going on. So this is much of the article is talking about all of the wildfires and the different climate events that have been going on, wildfire risks, and so on and so forth, smoldering, and you can see this is going on. All the efforts that they're trying to do to try to repair these damaged areas. And so yes, this is happening. So they show Austin area, Dallas Fort Worth area, San Antonio area. Texas cities are experiencing lower than normal precipitation this year. Rainfall is expected to become more volatile in the future, with long dry periods punctuated by heavy rains. And so some places that have a lot of drought and dryness and heat, while others are flooded underwater. Cities are going underwater. Floodwaters and new defenses. The hope for rain varies by region. In Texas, travel east from dry to, it's all kinds of stuff. So this is a mix of stuff. So they're talking about all the flooding, even the coastal flooding that has been happening. So that was mentioned. That was mentioned further down. So you can read it at your own leisure. They said there's an increase in coastal flooding. So increased coastal flooding, high tide flood days, coastal Texas have increased in the 21st century. It says some predict the high tide flood days for much of the year of 2050. And so it's basically they're looking at the weather patterns, how they're really getting like more aggressive. And whether you want to believe this or not, it is happening. And like, just take a look at Iran. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, you got to see that this is not normal. Some of the stuff, when you look at it, it looks like it's out of some kind of book or something. Like, well, I'm switching over again. But it isn't good. Look at this. What do you think about this? That does not look good. People are standing on top of things. So, having said that, I'm going to let this go. I mean, we need to take climate change more serious.